Hey, Nikki here with Beauty J'adore with my new pattern, which is a shorts pattern. Because it's summer, it's hot, and there are two different lengths to these shorts. I love them so much. I know I say that about everything, but I do, I really love it. There's the shorter version, and then there's the Bermuda, because Bermuda is all the rage at this point. And I'm tall, so these are nice and long. But it's a really simple pattern. I believe there's 8 pieces, and I have a full tutorial that I'm going to run through with you guys. This is a print at home only pattern. You can only print it at home. And let's see, you're going to need a fabric that's no stretch. So you're going to need any type of woven fabric. This is like a medium weight linen. The shorts that I'm actually going to make, they are in, you know what, there's like a teeny tiny bit of stretch in there, but it's a jacquard, but very lightweight. And these are designed to fit not tight, so they're a bit looser, but the waist, it's more of a fitted waist. And it's a high waist, because don't we all love a high waist? Because essentially I thought, okay, I love a cropped top, but not like belly out crop top. And so these are perfect. They're absolutely perfect. And they're super comfortable. They have pockets. They have this little like pleating design in the front. And then there's a button and a zipper. So I hopefully went through all the steps appropriately. If you have any questions, any comments, concerns, let me know. Happy sewing. So we have all the pieces cut out. We have the interfacing attached, and we have all the markings. Now what we want to do, and you have to make sure that with the front, this is the front. So this is the right side. So typically you would put your markings on the wrong side. So you are going to put where the pockets are going to be placed on the wrong side. But on the right side is where you're going to put these markings, because this is where your little folds are going to be on the right side of the fabric as opposed to the wrong side. All right, so let's go ahead. So what you're going to do, this is the outside seam that you're going to have. You want to just go ahead and gather these here, see if they're matching up. And you're going to just pin. And a good way to make sure you're matching them is if you just take a pin, and then the pin is coming out the other side at the marking place. And then just go ahead and pin here. And we want to do the same thing right here. All right, so go ahead and stitch. And once you stitch, you then want to fold this over and then press toward the side seam. So you want to do that for both sides. Okay, so we have the little pleats in the front stitched. Now what you want to do is just do a basting stitch across the top as well as across the bottom. You want to do that on both sides. And then go ahead and put the dart in the back. So we're just going to go ahead, pleat this, and we're going to stitch, and then we're going to press toward the inside on both the darts. Okay, so we have everything pressed. We have the darts done in the back. So let's just go ahead and set the back to the side. And now we're going to take pieces, what is this, 3 and 4. So this is the right side of the fabric. Wrong side, right side. So for the left front, which is this side here, you want to take, and just make sure you have everything interfaced as well. With right sides together, you're going to pin this. And then you're going to stitch it. You're going to stitch close to the edge here. Then you're going to fold it over and press. And in the meantime, what you want to do is fold this in half as well, and then press this. Okay, so we have this nicely pressed, and I'll show you this again. We're placing this right here on top, stitching along this edge here, and then folding it and pressing it really well. And then we press this close. So now what you want to do is you want to take your zipper and you want to place your zipper right here. This is the folded edge. And you want to stitch right down here. You want to stitch as close to the edge, right over here. Okay, so we have the zipper connected. Now what you want to do is you want to take, this is the right side. So you want to fold this under. About 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And then press this. Okay, so we have this folded under and pressed. Now what you want to do is you want to take, where we have the zipper here, and you want to line the edge up with the edge of the short. So right there. And then you want to take your zipper presser foot and you want to stitch as close as you can get here without hitting the teeth. You want to do that and then just kind of give it a little press again. Okay, so we have the zipper stitched in. Now what you want to do is you can either use your over stitch, or I just use my pinking shears just to kind of, although this fabric, it frays a bit, but not too much. So what you want to do now is you want to make sure this is folded under nicely. Like this here crease needs to be exact when you fold it over. So this seam needs to be right here on the edge. And as you do that, just go ahead and fold this under all the way around, and then go ahead and give it a really hard press. Okay, so we have everything pressed. We have this nicely pressed over. So now what we want to do is just go ahead and flip this on the wrong side, both pieces. And just as a reminder, this is the left side and this is the right side. So we want to take, kind of push this over. We want to attach this side of the zipper to this side here. But when we attach it, we don't want to attach the actual front piece of the fabric. We only want to attach this part here. So I'm going to turn this so I can get it better. And we want to line up right here to the edge of here. And then go ahead and pin this. So then taking the zipper presser foot, we're going to go ahead and stitch close to the edge. Again, don't stitch through all the pieces of fabric, only stitch through this right here, right across here. Okay, so we have the zipper connected, and this is the wrong side of the fabric and this is the right. So it just kind of gives you an idea of what it should look like. Now what you want to do is just go ahead and stitch the inseam. So you're either going to have this overstitched or you're going to have it folded under. Just go ahead and put these together. Pin these. So what's going to happen when you get up here? Let's see if you can see this good enough. So you're going to stitch here, and then once you get here, you're just going to take your presser foot and go over. So this is going to be kind of like a diagonal. I don't have a little pin, but you're going to go right over here. You're going to go as high as you can go without hitting the bottom of the zipper, and you're going to close it off right here. So stitch all the way up and then go over right here. Okay, so you have the inseam stitched. I'll show you what it looks like on this side. Like so. Now go ahead and turn it over to the right side. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold this over. Make sure it's nice and flat. Then you're going to pin it. And you're going to need to kind of fill where the zipper stop is, which is like around right here. So for me, I'm just going to mark it so that I know this is where I'm going to reinforce the stitch. So before you do any stitching, you want to make sure, well, we should have done this before, but you want to make sure, let's flip this over. When you're stitching, this right here is pulled over. So you just go ahead and pull that over. You can either clip it or pin it. So we'll turn this back around. So what you're going to do is you're going to stitch it. So typically on patterns, you may see like the letting you know where you need to stitch, kind of like the stitch line for the zipper. I kept that off only because I know for myself, I like a different type of stitch, and I like to kind of position it in different ways. So you have the option. You can stitch it kind of however you want. If you don't want to stitch, you have that option as well. But I am going to, I just kind of like try to sketch mine out a bit. And you have this as well. So if you want to kind of follow this pattern, you can do that. But I am going to do mine like right here. Yeah, I like that. So remember, when you're stitching, you have to keep this part here out of the way. So just go ahead and stitch this, making sure you reinforce right here at the end. Okay, so we have the placket stitched over and the zipper completely done. Now what we want to do is grab the pocket pieces. And we want to, with right sides together, pin the pockets. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and stitch. So when you stitch, you're going to stitch close to the edge here on all 4 pieces. Making sure you reinforce here and here, stitch on all 4. Once you do that, go ahead and press the seams open in this direction. So this is the right side. You're going to press to the inside, like toward the pocket. Okay, so we have the pockets attached. Now what you're going to do is take the back pieces and go ahead and stitch and then press the seam allowance open. Okay, so we have the back stitched together. Now what we want to do is we want to take the front with right sides together. And we're going to stitch. Got some water on here. So what you're going to do is you're going to pin and you're going to stitch the sides. So you're going to stitch and then you're going to reinforce the stitch at the markings. You're going to do that on both sides. And then after you do that, you're going to go ahead and stitch the pocket closed and then go ahead and give it one good press. Okay, so we have the side seams stitched and nicely pressed. And now we're going to go ahead and turn inside out. Line up the front and the back crotch. That sounds so ugly. Go ahead and pin, stitch, and then press the seam allowance open. Okay, we have this part here stitched and pressed. Now what we're going to do is work on the bands that's going to go around the opening of the leg. So there's two of them. What we're going to do is with right sides together. Just go ahead and pin. Then you're going to stitch and then press the seam allowance open. Okay, so we have the band stitched and pressed. Now what you want to do is take it with wrong sides together, making sure you even this out. Go ahead and press and then baste stitch all the way around. You want to do that for both sides. Okay, so we have the bands stitched, base stitched, and pressed. Now what we want to do is attach them. So with right sides together, we're going to go ahead and match up the side seam. We're going to match up the seams here. And then pin all the way around. Okay, so once you have it pinned, go ahead and stitch all the way around. And then press with the seam going up. So you're going to press the seam allowance all the way up. And you want to do that on both sides. Okay, so we have the band connected and nicely pressed. Now what you want to do is take the belt loops. So you should have 5 pieces, belt loops, which are like 3 inches long. So what you do, let's start with this one. You're going to fold it in half and then press it. And then what you do once you press it, you're going to meet each one in the middle. Each side, you want to meet it up in the middle. So essentially, it'll look like this. So do that, go ahead, do all of the pieces, and then press them. Okay, so we have the belt loops all pressed. Now what you want to do is go ahead and stitch on each side. So you want to stitch down this side and then this side. You want to do that on all 5 of the belt loops. Okay, so we have the belt loops stitched. Now what we want to do is with the right side of the belt loop to the right side of the fabric, we'll just go ahead and pin this. So once you have it pinned, just go ahead and do a base stitch across each one. Okay, so we have the belt loops base stitched on here. Now what we want to do is grab the waistband. So you have the interface side and the uninterface side. You want to take And just the end here, you want to fold this over and then pin it all the way around. So once you pin it, then you want to go ahead and stitch all the way around. After you stitch, go ahead and press the seam allowance in an upward motion. Okay, so we have the waistband attached. Now we need to add the facing of the waistband. So we're going to take this part and the bottom half, we want to fold it over or under about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, somewhere around there. Just, I'll move this over so you can see. We're just going to fold this under all the way around and then press. So you see right here I have an extra seam. That is because I ran out of fabric. And it's going to be on the inside so you can't see it. So let's just go ahead and fold this under all the way around and press. Now this is the wrong side of the fabric, so we're folding it on the wrong side. This is the right side of the fabric. Okay, so we have the waistband facing pressed under, and now what we're going to do is attach it to the short. So you're going to just line everything up the exact same way and pin. Okay, so you are going to stitch, let me see here. So you're going to go in here and you're going to stitch up here all the way around and then do the same thing on the other side. After you do that, you want to trim the seam allowance, just making sure you don't trim too close, and then turn it right side out and press it really well. Okay, so we have the waistband facing connected. Now what you want to do is you want to go through and you want to kind of slip stitch all the way around. You can do that, or you can, there's different ways that you can kind of like stitch this here without the stitches being exposed. You can do like just a hand invisible stitch. You can also do an invisible stitch with your machine, but I'm going to go ahead and hand stitch all the way around. Okay, so we have everything stitched and put together. I'm just going to quickly see. We have everything done. Now what we want to do is these belt loops here, we want to fold them under like so. Attach them to the top. You can either pin it or just kind of clip it. And what you're going to do is at the very top here, let's see if you can see it well. But we're going to stitch right across the top. And I like to do a double stitch, especially if you plan to wear a belt, just because it secures it really nicely. So just like a double row of stitches right across the top. You want to do that for all 5. Once you do that, just give it again another really good press, and then put in your buttonhole and your button, and you will be all done. Okay, so we have the belt loops finished. We have the buttons and the buttonhole, and that is it. I find this to be a pretty easy sew. Of course, with this pattern, like I mentioned before, you can either make them short like this. And what I do like about it is that kind of like the sides flare out a bit, and they're designed to fit looser. And I just really love them. There's several different ways you can wear them, especially when you can do the Bermuda portion as well. So we're adding length onto these. So either or, it gives you a completely different look. And yes, I think that is it. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything, just let me know. Happy sewing.